Hello students, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to my channel. This is a very important class on Know Your Text series part 14, and today we will continue the summary of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. But before starting, I want to give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Brishti Mukherjee. I have qualified NTA UGC NET exam in English literature 4 times and have also qualified West Bengal state examination. I have 2 years of teaching experience. Moreover, I have also topped in NPTEL online course from IIT Madras 3 times. So that is all about myself. This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. And also please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel so that many more new learners can. And these are the timings of your classes Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. Saturday, Sunday off. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notification. Good evening, Ektava. Welcome. So in the last two classes, we have discussed the summary of chapter 1 and chapter 2. And today we will discuss the plot summary of chapter 3 and 4. Okay, good evening, Papri. Welcome. So, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, published in 1916. So, we will directly start today from chapter number 3. तो लास्ट चैप्टर में हमने क्या देखा कि स्टीफन वाज ऑलरेडी इन अ ग्रेट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट because he had done an illegitimate thing with a prostitute. So due to his overwhelming condition of bodily desire, he cannot control it, and he finally does those things which should not be done. And Stephen was in deep conflict of what is right, what is wrong, conflict between body and soul. तो इससे हमने कल की क्लास को एंड किया था. टुडे फ्रॉम चैप्टर 3. एज इट इज अ स्ट्रीम ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस नॉवेल, तो बहुत मतलब क्रोनोलॉजिकली प्लॉट नहीं चलते हैं. अब ये प्लॉट शिफ्ट हो रहा है चैप्टर 3 में कि स्टीफन हैज कम बैक फ्रॉम द वेकेशन एंड ही इज इनसाइड द क्लास. Okay, so after this incident, he is inside the class and he is distracted again by the thoughts of nightly adventures with the prostitute. He cannot concentrate on study. Those things always hammer on his mind. So nightly adventures with prostitutes, he tries to satisfy his lust by thinking the details of intimacy inside the class. He is not at all attentive to the lessons. Rather, he is thinking of again his own bodily desires, and he wants to satisfy it now only by thinking and visualizing, because now he cannot go to that particular place. Right. Good evening, Rajkishore. Good evening, Elena. Welcome. And he feels very cold and empty. The whole world appears to be very cold. The moment he has that lustful desire inside his mind, he is very energetic. But at the end of this desire, when it is quenched, when the thirst is quenched, then automatically he feels very cold, empty, and without any purpose of his life. So he is worried that his illicit sexual intercourse can be harmful for him because it is not acceptable in society, and it often proves to be problematic to any boy or any girl. So he is very much worried of that, and he realizes that it is a sin. Still, he cannot control himself. That is the problem. Stephen is in a very helpless condition. He realizes that what he is doing or what he has done is a sin, but still he has no way to control it. Good evening, Pooja. Welcome. Okay. Now he does not pray because he has no faith in prayer. अगर वो कोई सिन करते हैं तो ये तो बिलीफ होता है कि अगर हम गॉड से प्रे करें. क्रिश्चियनिटी में ये बिलीफ बहुत ज्यादा है कि अगर हम गॉड से प्रे करें तो जीसस इज ऑलवेज रेडी टू फॉरगिव हिज एनिमीज. तो जीसस इज हियर टू प्रोटेक्ट अस. तो स्टीफन को भी ये पता था, बट स्टीफन को ये बिलीफ नहीं था, ये फेथ नहीं था गॉड के ऊपर कि जो सिन मैंने किया है, क्या एक प्रेयर से वो सारी चीजें खत्म हो जाएगा. ये मतलब थोड़ा सा इलॉजिकल लग रहा था. तो ही डज नॉट प्रे. He goes to church on Sundays, but like a hypocrite. Thus, Joyce questions the religious rituals, which was very much conventional in the Catholic Church. तो इसको जॉयस एक मतलब अटैक कर रहे हैं कि वेदर इट इज रियली नीडेड और नॉट टू go to move closer to God. So Stephen visits the church, performs all the rituals, especially on Sundays, because Sunday is considered as a holy day to every Christian. So he goes to church to pray on Sundays, but he acts like a hypocrite. वो जा तो रहे हैं लेकिन उसके मन से वो विश्वास नहीं है कि इस प्रेयर से कुछ काम हो. ठीक है. अच्छा, एब्सेंट यस्टरडे, ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, यू कैन वॉच द रिकॉर्डेड वीडियो एलिना. तो आज हम चैप्टर 3 से बात कर रहे हैं. यस, कॉन्फेशन टू क्राइस्ट. स्टीफन थिंक्स ऑफ हिज रोल एज अ लीडर ऑफ द रिलीजियस ग्रुप, बिकॉज बेसिकली स्टीफन का जो अपब्रिंगिंग है वो तो रिलीजियस ही हुआ था. ठीक है, बिकॉज ही वॉज अ मेंबर ऑफ कैथोलिक फैमिली एंड उनके जो गवर्नेंस थे वो भी कैथोलिक थे. तो टोटल एक रिलीजियस रेस्ट्रिक्शन में उनका born and brought up. That is why Stephen thinks of his role as a leader of a religious group, and on Saturday, he imagines it. On Saturday, he leads a group of boys to the prayer room to pray for Virgin Mary. ये स्कूल में होता था. ठीक है, स्कूल में जब स्टीफन थे तब उन्होंने क्या किया, वो सैटरडे में एक ग्रुप ऑफ बॉयज को लेकर वो चर्च जाते थे टू प्रे फॉर वर्जिन मेरी. And he is very much charmed to see Mother Mary's image, and it offers him a sense of purity. So this often happens that when you visit any temple or any kind of religious institution, you will feel a peace of mind, whether to whether after seeing any idol of God or any kind of belief. तो इससे एक मतलब प्योरिटी होता है, इसलिए हम टेम्पल्स या फिर मॉस्क्स में या फिर चर्चेस में जाते हैं. इसका मेन कारण ये है टू फाइंड पीस ऑफ माइंड. कोई भी रिलीजियन में हो यही बेसिक पर्पस होता है. हम तो घर में बैठकर भी भगवान को पूजा कर सकते, बट व्हाई वी go to mandir or why we go to pilgrimage, the main purpose is that to find a peace of mind or to feel the sense of purity which is there in the abode of God. That is the main reason. Good evening, Cherry, welcome. So Stephen is also charmed by the image of Mother Mary, and that image offers him a lot of purity. After the class, Stephen goes to the rector with his friend Hiron. रेक्टर मैंने बताया था जो मतलब उस स्कूल का उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का हेड है. Stephen thinks that his lustful nature has brought other deadly sins in him, like pride, gluttony. जो बाकी जो 7 deadly sins में एक तो है lust और बाकी जो 6 sins है, Stephen is feeling or realizing that the other sins have also come inside him. Now the rector very ironically announces that the school will attend a 3-day religious retreat in the honor of Saint Xavier. टोटल मतलब टोटल स्कूल जाएगा इस फेस्टिवल में इन द ऑनर ऑफ सेंट जेवियर. तो मतलब स्कूल में क्लासेस बंद रहेगा, सिर्फ और सिर्फ रिलीजियस बातें होगी फॉर 3 days. Then Father Arnold comes to instruct the students related to the retreat. How will they perform? What will be their duties as students of a missionary school? तो Father Arnold आकर सब कुछ बताते. Yes, okay. The purpose is to take up इस retreat का क्या purpose है? The main purpose is to take the students away from the tensions of daily life so that they can focus on souls. Which means that due to that pressure of daily life, we often forget to find out the correlation between body and soul, and we often neglect the identity of the soul. But the purpose of this trip is to make aware of the students that soul is the most important thing, and you must think about the salvation of your soul, and to purify it you must keep faith on God. तो ये बिलीफ रखने के लिए बच्चों को लेकर जा रहे हैं इस रिट्रीट. yes, absolutely right, Papa. Absolutely right, Papa. This can also be a line of interpretation. Yes, they will be taught on death, punishment, judgment, hell and heaven. तो ये जो 3 days के लिए जो एक प्रोग्राम हो रहे हैं उसमें बच्चों को क्या सिखाया जाएगा. रिलीजियस कुछ बातें उनको बताया जाएगा ऑन डेथ, पनिशमेंट, जजमेंट. दीज आर सम ऑफ द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट थिंग्स ऑन विच वी हैव नो आइडिया और वेरी लीस्ट आइडिया. तो रिलीजियन ने क्या बताया है, गॉड का क्या मानना है, ये सारी चीजों के ऊपर ये बच्चों को पढ़ाया जाएगा इस 3 days retreat. And Father Arnold is telling them that earthly life is meaningless. Salvation of the soul is the most important thing. Our body is just a kind of dress, which is also said by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that our body is like a dress. And जैसे हम ड्रेस चेंज करते हैं डिफरेंट टाइम्स में, जब भी कोई ड्रेस पुराना हो जाते हैं या फिर वो किसी भी कारण के थ्रू वो डैमेज हो जाते हैं, तो हम उस ड्रेस को छोड़कर एक नया ड्रेस खरीद लेते हैं. जस्ट लाइक दैट आवर सोल इज like that kind of a little boy or girl who always loves to wear new dresses. So after getting the skin, after getting the body, when that body becomes damaged or that body becomes very old, so the soul longs for a new body. So body is meaningless, but soul is the most important thing. It can never die. It is immortal. It is eternal. तो ये सब बातें फादर आर्नोल्ड कह रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स को. While listening lecture on death, Stephen feels that his soul will be sent to hell because he has done a remarkably wrong thing. And he also realizes that on the day of judgment, if he asks for Jesus's pardon, Jesus will say that no, I cannot pardon you, it is too late. ये सब स्टीफन इमेजिन कर रहे हैं. देखो उनका इमेजिनेशन लेवल कितना ऊंचा है. That is why portrait of an artist. Stephen feels that the speech is delivered addressing his dark desire. This is actually the psychology of every criminal. ठीक है, अगर कोई सिमिलर इंसिडेंट हो रहे तो जिन्होंने वो गलत काम किया है उसको हमेशा ये लग रहा होगा कि भाई वो लोग मेरे ही पास आ रहे. ठीक है, ऑटोमेटिकली आपको आपके अंदर एक डर होगा कि ये जो भी चीजें हो रहा है कोई मुझे डाउट तो नहीं कर रहे, कोई मुझे सस्पेक्ट तो नहीं कर रहे. तो हमेशा ये एक फियर होता है एक गिल्टी क्रिमिनल के दिमाग. तो स्टीफन ने भी ये गलत काम किया है एंड जो भी स्पीच वो सुन रहे रिलेटेड टू सीन, डेथ, पनिशमेंट, ही इज थिंकिंग दैट ऑल द टीचर्स आर टारगेटिंग हिम and delivering speeches based on him. He is the ideal he is the ideal example of that. Yes, Arabi may be mentioned है, right Papri, absolutely. In most of his works to depict the hypocrisy of religious rituals. Yes, Arabi is also very beautiful short story, beautifully written, which is describing the concept of epiphany. And really जो मतलब जिस description choice ने दिया है, it is really amazing. जिन्होंने भी नहीं पढ़ा है अरबी एक बार जरूर पढ़ लेना, एक बार जरूर पढ़ लेना. हमारे भी सिलेबस में था ग्रेजुएशन में, ऑनर्स में. एंड इट इज जस्ट ब्यूटीफुल शॉर्ट स्टोरी बाय जेम्स जॉयस. Okay, so the speech is delivered addressing his dark desires. While returning home from school, from that retreat, a girl's laughter makes him ashamed of his own lustful thought. He is making connections. He imagines standing with EC. EC मतलब जिसका नाम एमा है, हम कल की क्लास में बताए थे. So he imagines standing with Emma before Mary and she is forgiving him. Stephen longs for forgiveness, but he realizes that what he has done, after that his soul will surely be tortured in him. Now next morning it was raining. Stephen imagines the great flood. देखो कॉन्स्टेंटली उसके दिमाग में यही बातें चल रही. ठीक है, स्टीफन इमेजिन्स द ग्रेट फ्लड एंड दैट डेज लेक्चर इज ऑन लूसीफर. हाँ, ये इज होगा. दैट डेज लेक्चर इज ऑन लूसीफर एंड क्राइस्ट रिडेम्पशन. ठीक है, एंड ड्यूरिंग दैट लेक्चर लूसीफर तो आप सबको पता है वो एक एंजल था, बट आफ्टर रिबेलिंग अगेंस्ट गॉड, आफ्टर डिफाइंग द ऑथोरिटी ऑफ गॉड, God has sent him to hell and Lucifer has a new birth as Satan. So Father Arnold gives a horrible description about hell and Stephen feels disgusted. Stephen feels shaken and he realizes that he is already dead and can feel every torture in hell. जिस तरीके से फादर आर्नोल्ड बता रहे हैं, स्टीफन को ये लग रहा होगा कि वो सारी चीजें मेरे साथ हो रही. Yes, absolutely right, Papi. इन हिज एडोलसेंट सो ही इज हाई ऑन इमेजिनेशन. यस, ये तो मतलब नेचर ही है कि एडोलसेंट टाइम में हम सबका इमेजिनेशन बहुत ज्यादा होता है. तो स्टीफन का भी वही है एंड इट इज वेरी मच आर्टिस्टिक. तो फादर आर्नोल्ड इज claiming, or sorry, Father Arnold is describing four types of pains in hell. हिल में रहने का चार टाइप्स ऑफ पेन आपको महसूस करना होगा. वो क्या है? वन है पेन ऑफ लूजिंग गॉड. यू आर अवे फ्रॉम गॉड, यू आर फॉर एवर डैम्ड. दैट इज द फर्स्ट पेन. सेकेंड पेन इज पैंस ऑफ गिल्टी कॉन्साइंस. दिस इज द ग्रेटेस्ट कार्स ऑफ योर लाइफ. गिल्टी कॉन्साइंस ये बहुत ही पेनफुल है. Then pain of intensity. Intensity means the intense claustrophobic condition of hell where the fire is ever burning. And also pain of eternity. Pain of eternity means pain of not achieving eternity. Because when you are condemned to hell, you cannot go to heaven. So there is no way to escape from that. That is the biggest pain. Okay. He asks his students to repent for their sin. ठीक है. फादर आर्नोल्ड बच्चों को बता रहे हैं कि अगर आप ऐसे रिजल्ट नहीं चाहते हो तो आप अभी भी जिन्होंने भी जो भी पाप किए हैं उसके लिए रिपेंट करो. नाउ स्टीफन फील्स वेरी मच कंफ्यूज्ड एंड अफ्रेड वेदर ही शुड रिपेंट और नॉट. ही mourns for his lost innocence in his childhood. He is shaken by the presence of devils and sinful people getting tortured in hell. Constantly he is visualizing those things. And he realizes that his soul has become animalistic. That is why he cannot control those animalistic desires. Hmm. Yes, absolutely. The description of merging the shadow with light while describing Mangan's sister is just mesmerizing. Yes, and at the end of the story, it is beautiful when the boy realizes that there is no glory and everything is dissolution. That epiphany, जो बाजार का सीन है वो टोटली एक इल्यूशन है. ये जब उनको पता चलता है, so it is also ended very beautiful. Yes, absolutely right. So he realizes his soul has become animalistic. He enters into the confession room. ये मैंने आपको बताया था. It is a custom of Christianity that when you have done something very grave crime and you cannot share it with anyone, then you can come to the confession room and directly talk to Jesus. ये मतलब बिलीफ है कि आपके बात अगर कोई नहीं सुन रहा तो जीसस जरूर सुन रहा है एंड जीसस सुनेगा एंड आपको माफ कर दे. दैट वाज द बिलीफ. So he enters into the confession room and tells everything to the priest. The priest realizes that Stephen is very much repentant. So he consoles the boy and he advises him to abandon his lustful habits. Priest ये कह रहे हैं कि चलो ठीक है, तुमने एक बार जो कर लिया वो दोबारा मत कर. Now, after that confession, Stephen feels a great purity inside his heart. Obviously, the pressure of guilt that has come down, and he realizes that Jesus has forgiven that. Mother Mary has forgiven that. So Stephen feels a great purity inside his heart. Yes. तो ये चैप्टर 3 में. Then we come to chapter 4. चैप्टर 4 में क्या है कि स्टीफन का एक लार्ज स्केल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हमें देखने को मिलता है. बिफोर दैट स्टीफन वाज अ lustful adolescent boy. He enjoys all those forbidden pleasures. जो भी जितने भी क्यूरियोसिटी होते हैं रिलेटेड टू बॉडीली डिजायर्स वो सब स्टीफन एंजॉय कर रहे हैं. बट आफ्टर दैट कॉन्फेशन स्टीफन चेंजेस टू अ ग्रेट डिफरेंट पर्सन. And he plans his life as a typical religious man. जिस प्रेयर के ऊपर उसका बिलीफ नहीं था, अब उसके दिन शुरू होता है और खत्म भी होता है प्रेयर से. Every day his life starts and ends with prayer. And he constantly prays for redemption, salvation of the soul. Salvation of the soul. तो he always thinks of the imageries associated with God. इससे पहले वो जितने भी इमेजरीज बता रहे थे दैट इज एसोसिएटेड विथ नेचर और एनी काइंड ऑफ लेडी और गर्ल. बट अब जितने भी इमेजरीज वो यूज कर रहे हैं वो सारे के सारे गॉड से कनेक्टेड है. वो कंप्लीटली एक रिलीजियस पर्सन वो बन गए. ही कंसिडर्स द होल वर्ल्ड एज एन एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ गॉड्स लव फॉर मैनकाइंड. हिज बिलीफ इज आल्सो गेटिंग ट्रांसफॉर्म. and he tries to discipline his five senses, which is a very important part. And ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ जो monks होते हैं, जो hermits होते हैं, वो ही कर सकते हैं five senses को discipline करना. ये बहुत ही difficult है. But Stephen at first also cannot get success. He cannot control minor angers and irritation. ठीक है? But he tries to hold himself back from everything, and he begins to feel guilty constantly what he has done. And to avoid that guilt feeling, he is doing everything which is associated with God. At the end of winter vacation, Stephen is asked to meet the director of the Jesuit College. अब यहाँ से एक नया स्टीफन को हमें देखने को मिलता है. जैसे हमने पढ़ा था कि राजू इन द गाइड, ड्यू टू द बिलीफ ऑफ विलन एंड अदर विलेजर्स, Raju from railway Raju, he has transformed into a hermit, a big saint. तो यहाँ पर स्टीफन का भी उसी टाइप का ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है, फ्रॉम एन एडोलसेंट यंग बॉय who is very much who feels very lonely inside the world, who has some kind of mental प्रॉब्लम मैं नहीं कहूंगी, मेंटल डिसबैलेंस कुछ था. ठीक है, डिसबैलेंस इन दैट सेंस कि वो नॉर्मल चाइल्ड की तरह नहीं था. वो एक बच्चा जब वो यंग मैन बन गया, देन ही हैज चोजन रिलीजियस पाथ एज हिज करियर. एंड द प्रीस्ट टेल्स हिम, द जेसुइट कॉलेज में जो डायरेक्टर है वो प्रीस्ट उनको बताते हैं कि द लॉन्ग रोब्स आर सो अनकंफर्टेबल. जो ड्रेस होता है बिशॉप्स का, पोप्स का, प्रीस्ट्स का, तो ये बहुत ही अनकंफर्टेबल है. It is like women's skirts, and after listening to that word women's skirts, Stephen blushes a little, because Stephen again reminds of his encounter with various women and how he thinks or interprets that. The priest suggests Stephen that he is now eligible to start his career as a clergyman. ठीक है, तो प्रिस्ट ये बताते हैं कि तुम अब चार्ज ले सकते हो, बिकॉज यू आर मच एक्सपीरियंस्ड नाउ. And he is also saying that if you have become a priest, priests have great power, and religious rituals will help him to connect with reality. This is the greatest power of any religious people. That is the power of religion. Okay, so Stephen feels proud to receive the offer of great power and knowledge. Stephen is feeling proud that the director has chosen me as the most eligible candidate for this post. But while leaving, Stephen hears a lovely melody. And suddenly the priest's face has become lifeless. मतलब totally ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हो रहा है priest के अंदर वो lovely melody सुनकर. And Stephen realizes that he has not come out of all earthly desires and feelings. That is why he feels very much disturbed and disturbed and disgusted with the sound of the music, destabilized. तो ये स्टीफन को जब पता चलता है, स्टीफन denies to accept such priesthood. He wonders how the priest is least affected by religion. जो इतना लंबा लंबा बात कर रहे हैं रिलीजियन के ऊपर, वो क्यों अपने लाइफ में उसको यूज नहीं कर पा रहे. This is the biggest question. And Stephen decides not to follow any institutional order, rather he will gather his wisdom by himself. He denies the post of the clergyman. Okay. Stephen returns home and comes to know that they will soon go away from this place in a new home. एक दूसरे जगह में जा रहे हैं कि स्टीफन वो घर छोड़कर, मतलब जिस घर में वो रहते थे उस घर छोड़कर वो किसी दूसरे जगह में जा रहे हैं. Then comes another part. Stephen waits for his father, who has spoken with the tutor for Stephen's admission in a new university. Obviously, they are changing their homes. तो स्टीफन को एक नया एजुकेशन में तो जाना ही पड़ेगा, तो उसके फादर एडमिशन के बारे में बात करने जाएंगे. His mother does not support this education, but Stephen is too much excited to enter into the university life. He feels guilty after rejecting the priesthood and consoles himself. बाद में वो repent भी करते. Now, while arriving or while moving through the streets of Dublin, Stephen goes back to his delightful memories in Dublin. And he is already lost in his childhood memories. Then what happens? Some of his friends invite him for swimming. जिसके साथ वो बचपन में खेलते थे, मजा करते थे, वो बुला रहे हैं स्टीफन को कि भाई आओ हम थोड़ा स्विमिंग करें. बट सीइंग देयर नेकेड बॉडी, स्टीफन feels very much disgusted because he has now a religious man. तो उनको एक मतलब डिस्गस्ट एंड एम्बैरेसिंग फीलिंग हो रहा है. He feels somewhere beyond time and space. He imagines, this is the imagination of Stephen, he imagines an artist is flying over the city and creates a new creation out of his experience. उसके लाइफ के ऊपर कोई एक आर्टिस्ट कुछ क्रिएट करे. He feels that his body is now very pure and can be connected with soul. He realizes the purity inside his mind and he starts swimming alone. जहां पर उसके दोस्त स्विमिंग करते हैं वहां पर नहीं, एक दूसरे जगह में वो स्विम कर रहे हैं. He imagines a girl looking at him, maybe mermaid. He imagines a girl looking at him, and after all this swimming and this moving through the water, Stephen finally falls asleep on the sea beach, and he is in a dreamland. He is in a dreamland. Okay. तो इससे चैप्टर 4 एंड होता है कि स्टीफन फॉल्स asleep on the sea beach and he has gone to another world through his imagination. और एक ही चैप्टर हमारा बाकी है, चैप्टर 5, which we will do in the next class. Okay, so that is the end of today's class. Thank you all for joining. This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. So we will meet again Monday at 8:30 p.m. We will complete the summary and also we will discuss some of the major themes of the text. Okay, we will also discuss that. And after watching all these classes, I hope there will be no difficulty in reading the text of book. Okay, so thank you all. Bye bye everyone. Good night. See you all Monday at 8:30 p.m.